There's Devin McCourty when he wasn't offending us on camera, helping Chris
right.
with his assessments of defensive backs in advance of the 2024 draft. Once upon a time, McCourty was a first-round pick of the New England Patriots. He played corner and safety.
Yeah, he was
right?
drafted
He
as a corner.
both.
He was drafted as a first-round corner. Yeah, that's what he was there to do. And they were not in love with his total package as far as a coverage skills guy, and they realized, damn, he tackles and he's smart and he's made to play safety. And of course, he had one of the best careers we've seen here in recent history at that position.
All right, so coming into this year's draft, we've got the names. Chris has watched the film. And give us your thoughts on who's the best of the best corners entering the draft this year.
Well, I mean, again, the great corners of all time have all one thing in common. They're extremely explosive. They're elite athletes, right? I mean, that's what it is. You go to like Champ Bailey, Darrelle Revis, Deion Sanders, Darrell Green, right? You go through the list, Jair Alexander right now, whoever you want to talk about. This isn't like, oh, they're smart and they just know how to play the game. It starts with pure physical explosion, eliteness, speed, all of that. Quinyon Mitchell has everything, right? I mean, when you want an island shut down man-to-man corner, to me, is the best in the business. Now, the reason he'll be doubted a little bit is the reasons you heard Devin McCourty talk about it a little bit. He played at Toledo. He never really got to match up against the top receivers in college football, so you don't see it, right? And listen, there's evaluators out there that, sometimes they're not comfortable with that, right? They want to see, and like McCourty, like Nate Wiggins from Clemson as his number one, just because, again, he thought, hey, I saw him play against North Carolina. I saw him play against this team with top receivers, so I got a feel for that a little bit, and I understand that. But, man, Quinyon Mitchell, in my opinion, is like really – we're talking special. It's Devin Witherspoon-ish from last year, except we're talking about somebody that I think is bigger and has more pure straight speed than Devin Witherspoon, Mike. And I had a man crush on him last year, and I brought you into man crushville as well. It's that type of guy we're talking about here. I mean, size, length, got some thickness. He's aggressive as hell. It might not be hitting like Devin Witherspoon, but he's around and kamikaze just like it. And his ball skills are incredible. Playing the ball, knocking it down, the ability to intercept the ball. I think Quinyon Mitchell is really special, Mike.
Witherspoon was the 5th overall pick last year, taken by the Seattle Seahawks. Where do you think the window opens on Mitchell this year?
So, I haven't got done with D tackles yet, right? But Quinyon Mitchell is in the running for the best defensive player in the draft. From what I've seen to this point, I think if Quinyon Mitchell, right, had an Ohio State helmet when he was playing or a Michigan, we'd be going, no, he's a top 5 pick. But the Toledo thing is going to bother some people, right? Or if he was, got a few games like a Sauce Gardner who was in Cincinnati, but we got to see him against Alabama and a few others that would have made evaluators warm and cozy. He doesn't have that. But again, when you talk about fast, explosion, putting your foot in the ground, driving on the ball, all that, Mike, it's as good as any corner we've seen come out in the draft, like in the last few years. It's that type of guy. I'm really excited for the guy. And, he's got a chance to be, one of those guys that's my favorite defensive players. I think he's got that type of talent.
We talk about the CYA factor from time to time, and that's an area where you could see a guy drop a little bit, because if you use a top 5 pick on him and he doesn't work out, you got the owner in your office saying, why did you think this guy from Toledo was going to be able to compete at the NFL level? He didn't compete against SEC teams. He didn't compete against Big Ten teams. You're projecting this guy to be a top 5 pick based upon the MAC? Are you kidding me? If he doesn't work out. If he works out, everything's fine. But that's what causes a lot of these picks to go where they do, guys to slide, because you don't want to have that awkward conversation with the boss if the guy just doesn't work out.
Yeah, I think there's a part of that, definitely. And again, hey, evaluating a guy and the talent he plays against and who that is, hey, that's certainly a part of the equation, right? We know that. But again, that's one where You got to be careful too, and you got to trust your eyes at times too and what you see, right? I mean, I know Khalil Mack, he didn't play any great left tackles when he was playing up there in Buffalo, but I mean, I turned on the film and I was like, damn, muscles everywhere, explosive as hell. I know these aren't like big-time Alabama tackles, but he's still throwing them around with one hand and like doing it easy, right? So those are the things you got to kind of piece together through this. He did play Ohio State 2 years ago and looked every bit in the class, and you didn't have to worry about with anybody out there in the receiver. So that will go, people will go back to that, and I would say to that even like, hey, he's better now than he was then. But yeah, I would be shocked if he's still on the board past 12 or 13. I mean, I think he's that type of football player.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.